Hey guys, wet, rainy, miserable day for a guy my age. Unsafe to go hunting unless something magical occurs in the next 3 hours. I mean, if it stops raining for real, I'll get out there, but I can't be out in the rain at my age. I can't be out in that kind of rain and near freezing weather for hours at a time, waiting for a damn deer. So what I'm going to do is head to the archery range. We're going to do a quick little experiment this morning, the one that I described to you guys last night when I was walking out of the woods, that if you're drawing at 40 meters and suddenly you realize you got to make a 20-meter shot, do you actually, at full draw, do you release, do you let back, do you let off on the string, reposition your finger, and try to take another shot? Chances are you don't get that 1.5 seconds to do that. You have to make a decision. And what I was showing you guys yesterday was that if you needed to go from 40 to 20 meters, for me, that's a 1-finger gap on the back end, which begs the question, if all I got is the arrowhead to look at, what do I do with that? Well, since the back of the arrow, here's how it works. I'll try to explain it here while I'm driving because there's nothing better to do. And then I'm going to go and do it for real at the archery range here in just a few minutes. But basically, the whole arrow acts like a teeter-totter with the fulcrum, the middle part where you balance, that's your hand. So that when you go, and it's not a balanced teeter-totter, it's only 1/3 of the arrow on the back side of your hand, and it's 2/3 of the arrow, maybe even a little more, on the front side of your hand, which means for every 1 finger that the back goes down, the front's going to go up 3. For every 1 finger that the back goes up, the front's going to go down 3. So you end up with a 3-to-1 ratio is the trick here. That if all you've got is the arrow, if you knew that what you needed to do was you needed to adjust the back by 1 full finger, then as you're looking out there, with your arm as long as your arrow is, like that, you know that you need that arrowhead to actually drop by 1, 2, 3 fingers out at that distance. 3 fingers. That's where you're going to place the head of the arrow. And that's going to be the 20-meter angle. You didn't know it was all about geometry. Remember when Mr. Bowman, your 7th grade math algebra professor, said, someday, Mr. Vogt, someday geometry is going to save your life. Ah, shut up. That was Mr. Bowman, 7th grade. Hey, Mr. Bowman. Anyway, this is where it actually does save your life. That you realize from simple geometry and similar triangles that whatever you do on the backside, whatever you needed to do on the backside but can't, you can do on the front side. Whatever you need to do to the knock of the arrow, changing the gap, you can do to the head of the arrow times 3. So if the back of the knock, if the knock has to go up 1 finger, then the arrowhead has to go down 3 fingers. Let's go see if this works. See you in just a minute, because I'm almost at the range. Wow, I get here and I'm the only one. I question the commitment of everybody else. We're not going to be here long. I'm going to go set up on those bags. I got to put my head cam on because it turns out I didn't bring any. I don't have my. Oh, I got a tripod. Never mind. See you in a minute. Okay, I got to do this really fast, guys, because it's super cold and there's 40-mile-an-hour winds coming out of the north-northwest, knocking the camera over every second. We got the big bag out there. You're going to see me set up for a 40-meter shot over there with a 40-meter gap. That's that white bag. But suddenly I'm going to take that 40-meter gap, I'm going to put the tip of the arrow right here, and then I'm momentarily, on this 20-meter bag, I'm momentarily going to shift the tip of the arrow down 3 finger widths. That's going to suddenly give me a 20-meter, God, I can't even keep the camera hold steady. That's going to give me a 20-meter angle, and you're going to see it go in the middle of the bag. So Look at that flag over there, guys. It's going crazy. Let me do a 40-meter shot to begin with. Here's my 40-meter gap. Step 1, choose your gap. Step 2, draw back under your chin. Step 3, look down the left side of the string. 4, tip of the arrow on the target. 5, slow motion release. And we see a nice shot in the bag. Now we're going to do the same thing before the wind comes up. Where'd I? Oh, I lost the knock. This is horrible. I only got one arrow left to show this to you. Camera's going crazy. What I'm going to do is set up for a 40-meter target. I'm aiming at the 40-meter target with the tip of the arrow, but now I got to go at the 20. Put the tip of the arrow on the 20. Imagine what 3 fingers down looks like. Aim 3 fingers down and release. Bam! Right in the middle of the bag. I got one more. Let me go pull those arrows. We're going to do it again. Okay, here we are going to do it again. Shot number 1. Regular 40-meter shot. Setting up for a 40-meter gap. Well, just about lost the camera. Man, I suppose you want to do me a favor. Come and hold this tripod for a second. I'm left it running. I'm not here long. All right, I got somebody crazy enough to help me. His name is Jim. Jim, hey Jim. We're going to take a shot at the 40-meter target first. Step 1, choose your gap. That's 2 fingers for me. 2, draw back under your chin. 3, look down the left side of the screen. 4, try to get out. 5, 4, slow motion. We see a decent shot here. All things considered. 40-mile-an-hour wind coming at the back. But what I want to show you guys is this. Let's say you're drawing for 40 meters, but now you know you got to shoot at 20-yard bag. We're how far down do you aim? You still put the center in the arrow. Put it into the target. So if you need 1 finger change in elevation on the back, 1 finger up, that's 3 fingers at the arrowhead that you need to put down. So in a pinch, you don't need to string walk. You don't need to relax on the bow, change your fingers, and then redraw. You just use the tip of the arrow, go down 3 fingers. This Mark VOGTLAND Outdoors. Well, we'll do one more just to see it since I got it. We're going to do it one more time. You're aiming at the deer. He's 40 meters. That's a doe. And all of a sudden the buck comes along and he's at 20 meters. You put the tip of the arrow right smack on the bag to start. But now you imagine you got to go 1, 2, 3 fingers down. Slow motion release. You get a decent enough shot before he actually steps across and he's gone. There, now I'm gone. See you. Okay, this is the wrap up on the video that you just got done seeing outside in 41 degrees with 40-mile-an-hour winds. You can see them like that. You saw what it was doing to the flag back there. It was kicking the arrow. It's coming from quartering from behind and hitting my arrow. So at 40 meters, you're going to see my arrows go up and down like this. What I want to tell you guys is this is a last ditch effort. This is not meant to be wildly precise. It's meant to give you something better than nothing when you go out in the woods and you suddenly have to take that shot where you're at full draw and there is no backing down and changing your gap. You have to pick. You have to figure out how to make calculations on the fly to even have hope. So you're not that guy that has to go back into Facebook, back into the trad archers, forum and say it grazed over the top or something like this because you made a bad call. This actually gives you some mechanism for calculating what you should be doing. And it's based purely on the geometry of the arrow. In fact, maybe I'll go back and put the arrow, I'll go and finish this video up at home where I'll lay the arrow and the bow down on the ground, down on a table, and you'll get to see what this is all about. But I hope it makes sense. Now, I'll just repeat this. This one's going in. This is in a pinch. You're at full draw, and you don't have a chance to let off, change the gap, and shoot. What do? It's whatever you would have done on the back side of the arrow, you do the opposite times 3 on the front side of the arrow. Or for me, it's actually 3.5. That's the gap, because my arrow on the front side of my fingers is 3.5 times longer than what's on the back side. So I have to make 3.5. But for me, that's easy. This is 3, and this is half. So I go 1 whole hand width to go from 40 to 20. And if I needed to go from 40 to 30, you split that difference. You go down 2 fingers. It actually works, guys. In a pinch, those 2 shots that you saw, I wish I'd walked over there. My arrows were only this close to each other at 20 meters, and they were right in the kill zone. I wasn't aimed for the center of the bag. You'll see it in the video. Anyway, I gotta go warm up. See you later. This is Mark Vogt with VOGTLAND Outdoors. We'll see you out there.